3, 2, and 1.
Welcome to the Game Case, a show for, well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft. The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW. Here's your host, Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 64 of the Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a Brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild.
And I'm Turt, a Beastmaster hunter, also on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild.
This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our week in gaming, answer some questions from the Cuddle crew, and then we're going to be talking to an amazing friend, the host of one of the best World of Warcraft podcasts out there. Certainly the podcast with the best sounding music, the one and the only Ringmaster Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, as always, it's such an honor and a privilege to be joining both of you tonight on the Game Case show. So excited, ramping up for BlizzCon. Legion, it's just been blowing my mind. Can't wait to talk about Warcraft.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely full schedule to be with us. How was your week of life?
This week was actually pretty darn amazing in the real life sense because I got to go to Hawaii. And while I was in Hawaii, I got to snorkel with the sea turtles and have the most amazing shaved ice I have ever had, like ever, in all the islands. This is my first time to Hawaii. But there's this place on Oahu called Uncle Clay's House of Pure Aloha. Oh. And like they have like Tahitian vanilla ice cream on top, on the bottom of the shaved ice with the real fruit all around it. Oh my God. The first day we got the shaved ice and they're like, oh, I see that you're buying like, 8 shaved ice for your friends and family. Did you want to join our rewards program? I'm like, no, it's okay. We're just visiting. We went back there 3 times. Totally should have gotten that rewards card. Oh man, it was just so awesome. I got a lot of sun at the beach, so I'm a little red right here. It's not because I'm a redneck, just at the beach and not enough sunscreen. But I am very full of luau meat and ahi, but not enough to get mercury poison. Don't worry. So that was my week in life.
Nice. That wow. I am totally jealous. Hawaii is on my list of places that I've never quite been able to make it. And I always get out to like Southern California, and that's about as far west as I've ever gone. But,
well, most of the time that's as far as you need to go, especially if you're in San Diego and visit a friend who lives in San Diego. He will remain nameless. Kevin from the Darkman Herald podcast. I hear he lives out there, and invited you for coffee. Just saying.
Yeah, if you're ever staying 4 minutes away from where Kevin actually lives and then don't make time to actually go see him, he will remind you on your podcast, probably
yes, I will.
repeatedly.
And at BlizzCon, I guarantee it.
Yes. Well, I will definitely sit down and have a cup of coffee with you at BlizzCon. That I can make happen. That schedule's a little less hectic. But T, how was your week of life?
Just busy doing the mom thing with the 4-year-old and the work thing. I'm going to tell you that game we talked about last time, Pythagoria, killing it. My math game is rocking. But yeah, otherwise just stayed in Iowa. Nothing exciting.
So for those that maybe didn't catch the last episode, can you explain this game? Because it boggles my mind. Can you explain
it? It's an amazing game. It's called Pythagoria, so I am saying it right. It's basically geometry and algebra, and you get a grid, and you have to create like isosceles triangles that are areas equal to the rectangle that they give you a picture of, or like a perpendicular line or bisect. It's so amazing. It's a math lover's dream.
That sounds like a trick that parents try to get their kids to do. Be like, no, I swear it's a game. You're not learning things.
It is. It does if you like get nerdy. You can click the help button, and it doesn't actually help you on the quizzes, so don't get excited. But it'll explain definitions. So it's sitting here like, this is what area means and stuff. So it's totally an app created to trick kids, but I'm okay with it.
So hold on. There's quizzes in this game.
Well, they're not quizzes.
It's boss battles in the
problems.
form of questions.
Oh, boss
Problems.
battles. There you go. I like it. As someone that has spent the better part of my adult life trying to avoid math, the thought of this game absolutely terrifies me. So congratulations. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Now I am late to the party when it comes to this particular. Is this like an app on the cell phone or is it a computer game? Oh, it's cell phone. Okay.
It is. I know it's for Android. I haven't checked iOS. I could get this on my iPad, and then I'm gonna be done with life and play this forever. But like, okay, I will pull one up here real quick. I don't know if you're gonna see it, but you have to construct. No, you can't see it very well. You have to construct a rectangle that has the same area of this triangle. And they give you a grid and stuff, and then you go through, and so you have to figure out the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 base times height, and then that gives you how many squares you're gonna need in the rectangle. It is amazing, but no one else so far has thought so. I'm waiting for my math nerds.
I'm following you. Cuddles is like,
No,
and I'm thinking about panda bears.
Yeah, there's a reason I took college algebra 3 times, and it wasn't because I loved it. It's mostly because I disliked it so much I didn't show. Like, I never failed the class for like actually trying. I just never went because I didn't want to math. Nice. Well, this week for me has involved a significant lack of math, which is very exciting for me. I also I recently, for those that follow my Twitch antics, I switched from Monday. I was doing Monday through Saturday. I'm now Monday through Friday. I actually had a weekend this weekend. I went over in Daytona Beach. They're having something called Biketoberfest, which is like a smaller version of Bike Week that happens there. It's like a big motorcycle get together. Went over there, hung out with my uncle, and like just really had a great time. Really relaxing. And other than that, like just kind of enjoying life. Life is good right now. Life is good.
Yes, it is.
So why don't we dive right into what we've been up to this last week within or outside of the Blizzard universe? Kevin, why don't you kick it off? What have you been up to with gaming?
Okay, in gaming, it's all Blizzard universe. I do not stray from my one love and joy. I just sign my paycheck and hand it to Blizzard. But I've been deep delving into Heroes of the Storm because I can play it with my son, and he just hit level 10 on Thrall this morning, and he is very, very excited about that. I introduced my co-host Kelpkeeper Walsh to Abathur, who he absolutely loves. So they've been doing this Abathur Thrall combination, and then I just pick whoever to fill in the gaps from there. And then, of course, aside from that, when I'm otherwise indisposed, we will say on this Safer Work podcast, I do play the little Hearthstone to make sure that I get to rank 20. And loving the Tavern Brawl this week, where you pick one card, and it's like, yep, they figure it out from there. So it's a fun Tavern Brawl this week. But most importantly, jumping into Warcraft, my one true love and joy in the Blizzard universe. I've been working on switching from Elemental Shaman to Enhancement Shaman because Elemental Shamans suck right now. And it truly pains me to say that because I've been an Elemental Shaman for about 3 expansions now, the 3 that it sucks. And now I'm back to Enhancement Shaman, which I was back in Burning Crusade, and really enjoying playing it that way. I've also been working on my Demon Hunter, which is an Alliance Night Elf on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. Woo! Made it. Woo!
Welcome to the family.
I know, but it was actually kind of funny because you cannot create a Demon Hunter on a server that you do not have like a level 65 or 75 character already on. So I could not just be like, hey, I have this free Demon Hunter, blam, I want it on Airy Peak. So I had to use the boost that I got from buying the collector's edition box of Legion.
Beautiful.
And so then I was like, okay, so I have to essentially create 2 characters on Airy Peak now if I want my Demon Hunter there. And after a long, hard thinking, I created a priest on Airy Peak named Aurora, but spelled like way funky. Like you would never guess that it's Aurora unless you actually like phonemically pronounced it out. And it was kind of cool because, now when you create a completely boosted level 100 character, it's they have this little trial thing, like you're going out to the Broken Isles to attack it, but you're on the ship, and there's this guy that goes like, oh, hey, we're on the way to the Broken Isles, but you need more training, recruit. And this is how you use, your flash healing, and this is how you do damage with your priest. And it starts you off as a discipline priest, so you can do like the damage spells, and you have to keep other soldiers on the deck alive as like the flying demon dudes come in. And then once you get like 5 or 6 spells or whatever, then it actually drops you into the Broken Isles scenario event. And you play through that, and then once you're out of that, you can switch to whatever spec you want and have all your spells available to you. So that was kind of cool experience that I had. So yeah.
Right on. Well, welcome to the guild, my friend.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. And Turarts, how about you?
I also have been, besides my amazing math app, been Blizzard all the way. Hearthstone, I have not done any rank matches yet. That is my goal this week, to jump into that. But I still love the mage deck. I played the druid deck a little bit, liking that, but I think I'm going to stick with the mage deck for a while. We'll see how that goes. I did dabble in some heroes. It was kind of fun and definitely interesting. I think I was on a team where they had 4 people already, and I was just kind of like hey, you're number 5. And they all went kind of up north, and I went down south. And you would think that the other team would go up north. Nope, they came down south, and I just kept, dying, but they kept coming south, and I was kind of a distraction. And then when we won, one of the guys on my team was like, nice job distracting them. I'm like, okay. I didn't know what I was doing. I was having fun.
It's what I do.
Nice.
That works. And then in WoW, I've just had barely time to play outside of the app, which is amazing. I love the app. But I am getting into Stormheim. I'm 110, working my way around the map. So I'm in Stormheim now. Surmar, coming for you next. So pretty exciting. Cuddles, what about you? What have you been up to in games?
So Hearthstone, I've been playing a lot. I had said that I was going to try to make Legend this month. I was going to put the time in and make it happen. And with TwitchCon, with all the cool stuff that came out of TwitchCon for me, I literally have, I have a stack. These are, this isn't a gigantic stack, but you can see there's several cards here that all have keys on them for games that I need to play, review, and, get some feedback for, either for myself or for Stack Up. And it's, it's been a little overwhelming with how much came out of there, which is all really, really good. But I haven't been able to put as much time into Hearthstone as I wanted. However, I am at 3-star rank 16 right now, and pushing forward. I'm actually on a win streak right now. So I started playing a Secret Hunter deck, which thank you to Bartholomew for sending that to me, another member of the Convert to Raid Guild and a great guy. He sent that over to me, and I always hated playing against Secret Hunter because it's just annoying. Oh my gosh, is that deck? It's like you start to do some damage and they drop another secret that does something else silly. You can't keep your minions out, and it's so frustrating. And I found that I really enjoy being that guy. So I really like playing the OP decks. So Secret Hunter, and then I've been running a Druid that it's a mid-range shaman rather. Which that's sitting at the top of the Tempo Storm tier list right now, or was a week and a half ago when I created it. So I've been cheating and running the high power decks and trying to see what I can do. Outside of that, I have been back into WoW. I have my monk Cuddles up to 106 now. So slowly creeping up there. I took a step back and I was like, why haven't I been playing WoW? Partially because I don't stream a whole lot of it. But I realized that I was totally unsure of what I wanted to play. So I spent a lot of time, especially this weekend, thinking about what I wanted to play, what I wanted to bring to 110, and what I wanted to start raiding with. I made that decision, and then Kevin just shattered my world because it was gonna be an elemental shaman. And I really wanted to play an elemental shaman, and I have a space goat at 65 that's spec'd Ellie, and now I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I have 100 in a DK that are close, that are up at like in the 90s or hundreds. So maybe I'll bring one of them up. My biggest thing is I don't want to tank again, because I don't want to have to be in a raid every single week. I raid with a very casual group, the Rubber Chicken Coalition, that does amazing things.
Yeah.
But I tanked for 2 teams all of Warlords of Draenor. So there was 3 nights a week that it didn't matter. At that time, I'm online. It has to happen. So I want to bring a DPS this time, so that if there's a week that I want to bow out, I can go, hey guys, I'm not coming to raid this week, and not feel horrible because they can't raid. So we'll see. I'll bring something up. Any suggestions from the chat room or from you two? Like, what's fun right now?
I would highly suggest, because you are an experienced tank, I would highly recommend you go with a class that does the tank, that has the tanking ability. Yeah. Not necessarily go raiding on your tank, but it's so easy to switch right now between your specs. And once you start getting those artifact research to really buff up your artifact weapon, the catch-up mechanics are huge right now. Nice. So even if you wanted to be DPS and you can dump most of your artifact power into DPS because you have that base tanking knowledge, you could tank dungeons and all that stuff to get the rest of the gear that you need. So I would highly recommend you go like Druid or Ret Pally, Demon Hunter. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with Demon Hunter right now. Death Knights are off the hook. They are ridiculously awesome. Frost especially has been so much fun to play, and I've heard the storyline is amazing. I haven't gone through the whole campaign yet myself, and you really can never go wrong with warriors. So those are my suggestions. Go with the big bruisers.
Right on. I will definitely check that out. And I see somebody, Wolf King, in chat mentioned that I could go Windwalker and keep my. I like the idea of having my Brewmaster there, because then I show up one night and we are short a tank. I can always step in. Brewmastering has changed, but not horribly badly that I couldn't probably stay alive. Maybe. Druid seems very interesting to me. I like the idea of being a kitty. So
yeah, and from what I've heard, like all specs of Druid are like knocking it out of the ballpark right now. I've heard Feral Druids saying they love Feral, Guardians loving Guardian, even Boom Chickens are like, oh my gosh, I love the bird. And my co-host Rebel Fleur, she loves her Resto Druid. So you can really hit all 4 specs, and that way you can fill in whatever your raid team could ever need on a Druid.
Nice. Maybe I'll try Druid. Maybe I'll try Druid and bite the bullet and boost one. And maybe I'll just do that. But I don't know. I've always found the leveling experience. I'm not one of the people that loves leveling. I love in-game content. Like I really enjoy raiding and dungeons and stuff like that. And I think that's part of my reluctance and why I don't have a bunch of alts. I think I boosted 2 out of my 3 level 100 tunes. So it's
I definitely get that. One of my best friends, when I first started playing this game, he hated questing with a fiery passion. All he wanted to do was Resto Druid in the game. And you could not level at all as a Resto Druid back in Burning Crusade. So it got to the point where like I actually got his account information and leveled his Druid for him because he was so fed up with trying to level through Northrend. I'm like, look, I'll just get you to whatever it was at that point, 80, and then you can have fun with the game again.
There you go, guys. Confirmed. Uncle Kevin's alt leveling service now available. Now,
well, I love alts. I now have 12 level 100s, 1 level 110, 2 level 110s.
Wow.
So it's like bread. I love doing it. So I love questing. I love the lore. Read everything in Legion so far. That was a long leveling experience.
Yeah, I found like I thought everyone said that Legion leveling was really quick. For me, it's been a little bit slow.
It is quick if you focus on leveling and just plow through it.
See, I can't do that. I need to find all the things.
Exactly. Oh, and if you do profession quests while you're trying to do it, especially archaeology quests. Oh yeah, the completest in me just had a little freak out moment where you run into, I think it's like Bran Bronzebeard in Stormheim, and he's like, "Hey, go find 200 artifacts of this particular archaeology dig." I was like, "No, no, no, abandon that crap. I'm out. I'm out. I'll come back when I have flying."
Oh, nice. Nice. And that's the way I need to approach it, because I screwed up with my knowing my own OCD. I went ahead and I downloaded the Legion Treasures add-on, so I see all the things, and it's like, okay, well, my quest like turn in is over there, but oh, shiny, oh, shiny, oh, shiny. So I think I've only fully completed one zone, but I found everything in that zone. Like, I left no stone unturned. It was like, literally, there's nothing else to find there. But I don't know. I don't know. I think you guys talked me into a druid. I think you talked me into a druid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good one.
There you go. Well, let me give a quick check here. Let me see if we had any questions for the show. We do not have any questions. Guys, make sure to remember you can go to bit.ly/CuddlesDiscord. That's bit.ly/CuddlesDiscord. We have a channel in there called Questions for the Show. If you ever want to know anything, ever want to hear anything from one of our guests, guys, just drop your questions right in there. We'll make sure to read them out on the show, and we'll have fun with it. So, guys, why don't we go ahead and jump right into the meat and potatoes of the show. Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have been playing Warcraft since the vanilla days. I can't claim that I was like an early adopter or anything like that. I was brought in about a year after Warcraft started, and I've been playing hardcore ever since. I was doing hardcore progression raiding at the end of Burning Crusade. So like I was raiding Black Temple before the nerfs, and almost ruining my marriage and all that fun stuff. But I have since moved to a much more casual form of gameplay now. I main enhancement shaman. I am, of course, Horde, because Horde is the best, as any Horde player will tell you. Yes, you will, Tuar. It's true. It's okay. You can come to the Horde side.
I dabbled in the Horde side at the beginning of Cataclysm for a little bit. I had a little DK goblin for a bit.
Well, okay, first off, you're starting off wrong. You're going Goblin and DK for a Horde experience. You got to go like Orc or Troll or Tauren or Forsaken. You got to have the Forsaken in there. All praise and glory to our new War Chief Sylvanas.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's where I come from in game. I'm a very casual player. I read all the books. I read all the quest texts. I love the movies. I love everything about this game, both in game and outside of game, the community and everything. So when I talk about this game, it's not from the hardcore world first perspective. It's from the casual family gamer that comes in, and I'm looking for a great story and an easy, fun time to go. Outside of game, still relating to Warcraft, I am the host of a podcast called The Dark Moon Herald with Rebel Fleur. And our podcast, it focuses on the fun, everyday, casual players of Warcraft and how we're getting in and experiencing the game and all the really fun stuff that we find and are experiencing, the news that we talk about. That's the kind of things that we really focus on in the Dark Moon Herald, because Warcraft, it's truly a game of a variety of different things. Show that has something for everybody, just like the Dark Moon Fair. So we kind of have that as our underlying current. We have some awesome segments, the sideshow of suck, or the where we talk about some stupid bonehead stuff that we've done in game that just makes you face palm or laugh at yourself. Usually involving falling deaths or forgetting that you have res sickness and running into a pack of mobs and getting absolutely destroyed. we have a couple other segments like the Dunk Tank Trivia and Bloodluster Heroism, which I've kind of just adopted as my own. Like, hey, this is 2 minutes where I can just rant and rave about whatever I want to. And a lot of our listeners will then tweet on Twitter with hashtag like Kevin is right or Kevin is wrong based on whatever rant I had that particular week. And so it's a lot of fun. It's a very casual, like it's not the latest and greatest breaking news, but it's guaranteed to be a good time. And as Cuddle said, we do get rave reviews about our intro music that I had nothing to do with, and the bumpers. So it's a fun show. Check it out. And if you like it, let me know what you think. darkmoonherald.com. If you don't like it, let me know what you think, because I'm always up for feedback, and I don't take offense to anything. I don't take it personally. It's all a preference game, so I love hearing what people think. That's me.
Nice. That is. Yeah. So I have to say, I got to meet the whole cast of the show, which at the time included Cooper Walsh.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got to meet you guys at last BlizzCon. And for those that don't know, is there any particular way maybe people would be able to tell who Ringmaster Kevin is at BlizzCon? I mean, like, will you be wearing maybe like a name tag, or I don't know? Do you do anything at cons?
You know what? I try to blend in by hiding right in public, and the way I do that is I wear a purple top hat and a Darkmoon Faire tabard. So I am incredibly inconspicuous in my movements around the convention. It's actually a really funny thing, because the Darkmoon Faire tabard, it's all like embroidered stitches and all that awesome stuff all the way through it. And my wife helped me make it. And the very first convention that we went to, we checked into the hotel, and my wife was coming to all the pre-convention stuff and was going to go shopping at Downtown Disney and all that fun stuff. And so I grabbed my tabard, and we go to walk to the convention center, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're going to wear that now?" I'm like, yes, like this is what we spent months working on, was to make this tabard. Why would I not wear it while we're walking to the convention center? And just the look on her face, I was just like, all right, I'll put it in my backpack until we get there. But then walking to the convention center, what she didn't realize is that I was not the only person that's going to be dressed up walking to the convention center the day before the actual convention. So it's like, I would not have been out of place wearing my Darkmoon Faire tabard. And now it's expected. So if you see some weird guy walking around in a purple top hat and a Darkmoon Faire tabard, go ahead and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, because I love having conversations with people.
On. Now, how long has Darkmoon Herald been around? You guys have been going for quite some time.
Darkmoon Herald, as its own entity, has been going on for over 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
We've had a change in hosts about 1.5 years ago. We switched from my original co-host, Upsana, who is one of the most amazing people in Warcraft players that you will ever meet or hear. And she got too tied up in real life stuff, and to Rebel Fleur, who was initially on Twizcast as one of her first podcasts. And so she joined the show, and she brought a whole new perspective, because when she joined the show, she was a hardcore raider. She was a hardcore PvP player. When I introduced her as the Rebel Warlord Rogue with a Rose, is because she got the Warlord title in Warlords of Draenor. Like, she is hardcore PvP, and a Rogue player, which is a class that I had never touched until about 3 months ago. So it really, she brought an awesome new perspective to the show, and she's an amazing co-host. We'll be there at BlizzCon with us too. So the whole Darkmoon Herald crew, Kelpkeeper Walsh, Rebel Fleur, and myself are going to be at the Con Before the Storm and at BlizzCon. So make sure to look us up. as far as like podcasting about Warcraft, I had another podcast before the Darkmoon Herald called the Powwow Podcast, where we put the POW in WoW podcasting, and that ran for about I know it was an awesome name, and that ran for about a year. Before that dissolved, and Walsh and I started the Darkmoon Herald with Apsana. And so I've been podcasting about Warcraft for about 5 years now.
That is some experience.
Well,
Definitely.
thank you.
So earlier we had talked about how you've been playing since vanilla. So you are into the lore, you know a lot. When you're podcasting, do you ever find you have to like back off because you have someone like Cuddles who is newer and you're just going to go off on this tangent and they're not going to know what you're talking about, or do you just let it all out?
Okay, no. Before he answers that, I'm going to jump in here because they did trivia with me.
Okay.
When I was on their show, they did their Dunk Tank trivia, and I don't think I got a single question right. I don't think I did because none of it was about anything in WoD. And so I was literally just guessing. I had no clue. They're like, who did this at this place? I'm like, I don't know, Sylvanas. And they laughed at me.
Sylvanas.
They laughed at me, but then I won. So
You did win.
I did.
Hey.
I did. And I'm sorry, please. I totally took that over.
Oh, that's fine.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I found that we have a lot of listeners of the Darkmoon Herald who are huge lore fans and know a lot of the story and will often correct me when I get names or places wrong. So it is not uncommon for me to get an email of Kevin is wrong as the subtitle or the subject line to the email of like, Kevin, you got this horribly wrong. And let me tell you about why you're an idiot and you don't know anything about Warcraft lore. But like I said, I love feedback. I don't take it personally. Anybody who's familiar with my podcast or has heard me speaking on anything is that I'm horrible with names of places. And so like you go into Suramar, oh my gosh, like I can't name a single place in Suramar. It's all Waka Waka Hui. I felt like I was driving around the islands of Hawaii trying to name, like the Leaky Leaky Highway. I'm like, I have honestly no idea where I am or what I'm doing right now. But when it comes to lore, because so much of this game is grounded on previous events that happened, usually I will go back a little bit farther and like reference something in like the WoW Chronicles book and be like, okay, and I try to always say like, this is where I'm getting this information. Like, let's talk about the Titans. In the Warcraft Chronicles, it says that XYZ about the Titans. And that's why the Burning Crusade is here, like that kind of thing. So I do lay it on when I delve into lore stuff. I go full nerd on that one. It's like you and your little math app. I'm like all in. If you can keep up, awesome. If not, I can tell you the resources to get you there or the wiki page to get the same information. But I try to keep it. I try not to go on tangents and to keep it very relevant and on topic. Like if you want to know where Kelth Zod came from, I could do that in a very concise manner, referencing many, many books. I don't need to go into like, well, in the 5th year of the Second War, and like I don't go all red shirt on it. But, I do give the Reader's Digest version.
I kind of want to hear this now. I kind of want to hear this. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, okay. Well, technically during the Second War, when the warlocks were initially started, but and sometimes like I'll make some weird comment like, well, when the Death Knights were introduced here, and then I'll get the email. Actually, the initial Death Knights were made in the Second War in order to counteract the Paladins of the Silver Hand, and you're like, yes, okay, I remember that book now. You are correct. Terran Gorfine was the original Death Knight. I remember that now. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is absolutely awesome. So what are you doing right now in Legion? We've kind of talked around about what tunes you have. You've joined CTR. Like what's your favorite thing going on right now? Is it leveling alts? Is it Is it exploring? Are you raiding? Are you PvPing with Reb? What's going on?
These are all things that I'm like, I want to say yes. I want to say like, the newest LFR has come out. I'm like, I want to jump in there and see the newest raid because it continues that lore story, and I really want to see it and I want to know what's happening. But I've also been gone for a week, and I've kind of learned as a rule ever since Dragon Soul, you don't jump in on the first week of LFR. It's just kind of a poop show all around. So I've been kind of avoiding that for now. So I haven't been raiding. And honestly, I haven't been on a serious raid team since it almost ended my marriage. So, I'm prioritizing. Good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on questing. Finishing like the whole shaman storyline. I just finished the whole Illidan story arc, and if you haven't finished that, please tell me to stop right now because oh my god, it's amazing. Have you guys done the Illidan story arc where you go into like you look at his past and where he was born and then his slow move to corruption? Like it's Really?
Where is it? Is it Horde side or is it for both of us?
Okay, I don't know. Okay. I don't know where it is for anybody but Shaman. It when you get that fragment of I really hope I'm not spoiling too much. When you go and take the fragment of light to Velen.
I just started this. Like I'm at the very beginning of it.
Yes.
I think you get at 110.
It doesn't start at 110. That's how I finished it. I don't know exactly where it progresses because honestly, I forgot about it. For artifact in your order hall, and it will periodically give you quests to go to specific locations throughout Azeroth and witness Illidan's past, when he was born, when he got shunned by Cenarius, when he started to fight the Burning Legion and started the corrupted downfall. And it goes all the way through, and I will not continue anymore because it is amazing and you need to experiencing that yourself. So it was a jaw-droppingly awesome quest line, and so that's the kind of stuff that I'm working on right now, is getting my shaman up to snuff, doing the world quest to get the reputation done, getting the profession quest done, and just going around and exploring. And then once I have the world quest done on my shaman, I then jump over to my demon hunter and start working on leveling her up. Little word from experience. When I leveled my shaman, I went from Azuna, Yasharar, Sarge, whatever that stupid place is, High Mountain, and then Stormheim. And then I finished in Stormheim with my shaman, and then I went to my demon hunter, and I started in Stormheim because I wanted to see the other side of the story in Stormheim. Doing Stormheim back to back is really, really brutal. Because like all of a sudden you're like, I really don't care about the interesting path down the mountainside to get from X, location X to place Y. I'm just like, I just want to be there now. So don't do Stormheim back to back. It's not a fun experience, and you just end up skipping more than you actually want to. But yeah, basically questing, getting my class order hall stuff done, seeing all those stories. And so once I get through that with my demon hunter, then I'll pick up another class and work through their storyline and get all their artifacts and stuff like that. So definitely working on the lore and all the different questing experiences that we have so far in Legion.
I do have one quick kind of lore question. So you've done the demon hunter. When you were in the starting zone and you had to pick between the two like allies, did you have a difficulty of like, I'm going to have to do a second one to see what the opposite side is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I absolutely had that thought. Just like when you're going through the starting zone and you can pick to either sacrifice yourself or sacrifice the other
Yeah.
person in order to open the portal. Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, I have
I'm
to
gonna have to
come
do this
back
again.
here to find out what happens if I do the other one. So I'm that kind of OCD along with you, Cuddles, and that like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, there's two paths. I'm walking both. I have to walk both at some point. And that's what I loved about Pandaria that they're continuing here in Legion is those divergent path lines where I get a completely different quest if I play Alliance than if I play Horde. And that actually got me out of my little Horde bubble and got me to roll an Alliance character.
You're one of us now.
I am one of us, one of us. Yeah, exactly. So I think I have, was it 5 max level Alliance characters and 7 Horde? I think is how it balances out now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I can remember that quest line and that specific choice. Do you kill the other person or do you sacrifice yourself? I remember I played that in alpha and I wish I hadn't. Like I wish I would have discovered that like fresh. It actually, that quest line kind of convinced me to not play a whole lot of alpha and beta.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to spoil these things.
Yeah.
And
but it's such a cool lore moment if you choose to sacrifice yourself too.
Yeah, that was my path.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
But I still want to sacrifice the other person, so I'm gonna have to do it again. So.
I say I already went back and killed the other person. I can tell you what happens.
Let's talk.
There you go.
Next time.
Now coming up here very soon is BlizzCon.
Yes.
You are how hyped is everyone in here right now for BlizzCon?
Very.
I cannot tell you how excited I am right now for BlizzCon. It is going to be an exceptional year, and one that I think is actually going to be more along the lines of surprises, because I think we're going to get some huge announcements, way more than they're letting on, about StarCraft, about Diablo. I would absolutely not be surprised if we got another Hearthstone expansion announcement, like 11 billion heroes for Heroes of the Storm, like 2 or 3 new Overwatch heroes or Overwatch maps. And then, I mean, how crazy would it be if they're like, oh, and here's the next expansion to Warcraft, or like the next, I can already predict that I'm going to be in hog heaven way past the fact that I'm a huge esports fan for Heroes, and I'm just going to be sitting there watching the grand tournaments the whole time for Hearthstone and Heroes. I love watching that stuff.
I am definitely, that's the one thing that I feel like I was unable to secure a ticket this year. So I will be there, but I'm going to be on the outside. And the esports, I think, the big announcement, like the big opening ceremonies thing, and then the esports, I'm really going to miss. But I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it on virtual ticket from a house in Anaheim. So I'll just have a burger and a beer with me instead of being sitting inside. But I can't. Everyone's like, well, it's no big deal. You know, you can see all the stuff. And I kind of get that. I kind of get that sentiment. But there was something special being there last year for the announcement of the Warcraft movie.
Oh, yeah.
The release of the trailer, at least. It wasn't the announcment of the movie. But there was something special about being in that room with 25,000 other like-minded nerds. That was an incredible feeling. I think I'm really going to miss that this year.
Or like how at the end of the Warcraft movie it goes, and thanks to the BlizzCon audience for the Alliance and for Azeroth yell. I'm like, oh, that was me. And then I turned to my wife and I was like, that was you. And she's like, I don't care. My wife needs to get excited about this game.
Oh, that is awesome. No, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt this. I wouldn't normally acknowledge a host on Twitch, but I have to acknowledge this one because he's a great friend. He's just started playing World of Warcraft. Folks listening at home, if you watch Twitch, and for those in the chat room, guys, go check out Benny Fitz. He is absolutely, I'll drop a link in my show notes on iTunes. Guys, he's awesome. He's incredible, and he's a blue monster. which is just really, really cool. So you guys should definitely check him out. He's awesome. I love him. Got to meet him at TwitchCon, and definitely my favorite monster. But back on topic, I'm sorry. I love Benny Fitz. Calm Before the Storm. You gonna be there?
Oh yeah, dude, we're on the panel together for the podcast.
I know, right?
Panel. So I'm so excited to be there for that, to be included in it. I mean, it's such a cool event to get to talk to somebody. My voice is usually so sore at the end, just because I'm talking to everybody. And as Cuddles can attest to, last year, I'm a talker. And they accidentally left the microphones open while they were setting up. And that's actually how I met Cuddles. Is me and the Dark Moon Herald crew, we just grabbed the mics and started going. And Cuddles was walking by. I'm like, hey, you in the guild, come on in here, let's talk. It's so much fun. And, you know, as much as we are, you know, like Warcraft, you know, fan personalities or whatever with the Twitch streaming and the podcasts and the artists and the bloggers, it's like, I geek out so bad when I meet people that I follow and love, like Fabelina.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite Warcraft artists. You know, she did a badge for me this year. I'm very excited for that. You know, she's going to be there, and so it's like, yeah, I get to meet, you know, Fabelina and some of the Warcraft, you know, community managers. They show up, and, you know, getting to talk with you know, like John and Ben from Azeroth Roundtable, all the people from the D20 Crit Network, Rude, I mean, Medros, like basically you name all the people that I listen to year round, and I can, you know, shake their hand and say, you know, like, hey, thank you so much for what you do, and I love the work that you put forth, you know, tirelessly to create your content. It's just an amazing thing, and I'm there as a pure fan of all of the different podcasts and everything that people produce for Warcraft. So, I mean, I'm so excited to see that, and you know, I get to meet other people like the other co-host of the show, Tourette's. You know, hopefully, I don't know, Tourette's, are you going to be at the Con Before the Storm, or?
No, I will actually. I'm in Iowa. I will not be at BlizzCon this year, but that's okay. Real life happens.
Makes me sad. It makes me very sad. Are you now? I believe that they're going to be live streaming it too. So shameless plug for the live stream.
I will be helping host the Well Played Party live stream the following night on Monday.
Yes.
Awesome. So you should definitely stop by there. And yeah, I'll be sitting here in my pajamas, watching all the fun.
Excellent. That's awesome. Yeah. If anybody's going to the convention before, you know, their Thursday night, you got to go to Con Before the Storm. It is just an amazing party with so many great people. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, if you're at all into the community around WoW, like Kevin said, the bloggers, the podcasters, the artists, this is your best chance to go hang out with them, meet them, get to hear them talk about what it is that they and we do. It's where it's funny you mentioned listening to these people all year round. And I do. I mean, I think I have 16 WoW podcasts that I listen to each and every week. And it's so weird the first time that you hear someone. I think the very first person that I met that was a fellow podcaster was Mark Conan from Torrent Think Tank. And I remember talking to him, and I kept on stumbling over my words, not because I was necessarily like nervous about meeting him, but it was so weird to me. I'm like, no. You're supposed to be in my headphones. What are you doing standing in front of me? This is not right. You live in my phone. You're not. Yeah. You're a real person. I can hug you. And the same thing with you and Rebel Floor. The same thing with Pat Crane, with Mick Montgomery. With all these people that have these voices that, you know, we spend hours and hours with some of these folks, or the artists. I mean, they do such a phenomenal job. Just being able to, like you said, look at them and thank them for what it is that they do is just incredible. And also, I would be utterly remiss if I did not point this out. Our panel at Calm Before the Storm is 9 p.m., I believe. The 9?
I don't know. I think so.
We're on the podcasting panel at Calm Before the Storm.
Yes.
You go to calmbeforethestorm.com, where you will see I am actually the only real person. Everyone else is an avatar. I thought that was really cool. And the little like promo thing they had, I think they took everyone's Twitter pictures.
Yes, they did.
And everybody has an avatar. And then there's like me with a drink at last BlizzCon. Yeah, it is what it is. And there's one real quick other thing, and then we'll see if Tourette's has any last questions. But guys, hashtag get Tourette's to BlizzCon. I'm not gonna talk about there was circumstances. Tourette's was planning on going to BlizzCon. She has the time off of work, but guys, if there's anybody out there that wants to get Tourette's to BlizzCon, we need her and her hugs there. I know plenty of you guys owe her drinks. So somebody needs to step up. I know somebody that has this in their ears right now has some extra airline miles. They're feeling squirrely and want to buy somebody a flight from Iowa. I wouldn't ask this if I didn't know that the Warcraft and the Game Case show community wouldn't be able or willing to do this, guys. Hashtag get Tourette's to BlizzCon. Let's make it happen. Make this happen.
Did. From last podcast, we did have someone that tweeted a happy birthday. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I saw that. That was Squinty Eyes.
Yes,
really cool guy that actually lives really close to me. Great guy. Super, super, super friendly. T, you got any last questions for the old scratch here?
Real quick. Okay, I know I love lore, so I'm sorry I've been harping on that, but is Legion holding up to your standards so far? Just quick. Is it holding up?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
I mean, the bringing in of so many old characters and having us go through different parts of the world in order to experience stuff. If anybody wants, like reasons to play Shaman, the entire Shaman like quest line in order to prepare you for Legion is you need to go to all the different elemental planes to rally the elemental lords to fight with you against the Burning Legion. So it's like you're going to the Firelands and helping one of the fire elementals become the Fire Lord because, since we killed Ragnaros, there's a little bit of a power vacuum going on right there. So you have to help one of the fire elementals. You go down to Deep Home and help Therazane, cement her hold in Deep Throne, do her favors so that she will then have her earth elementals help you in your fight against the Burning Legion. So going around to all these different things, tying in all of the different, like the elemental planes and the elemental powers to all that Shaman are. I almost forgive them for putting us in the Maelstrom because that is still the worst place ever. But everything else that they did with the Shaman is just, it's magnificent. Just absolutely perfect. I love what they're doing so far with the Shaman lore, what they're doing with the Demon Hunter lore, and I cannot wait to, and from what I've heard from like Dustin Turley from the Horde for Life podcast, what they're doing with the Warrior lore. I mean, everybody I speak to, that's a Druid, a Warrior, a Warlock, like a Rebel Fleur with her Rogue. I mean, it's just like they are absolutely loving all of their class stuff. And, they're knocking it out of the ballpark. And the fact that as we go through, we kind of get that Game of Thrones-esque idea that there is no more sacred cow. I mean, people are going to be dying. There is nobody who we know is going to make it to the end of this particular expansion. And that kind of like makes it a little bit more visceral and more real to you. It's like when you read a Christy Golden novel, that any new side character that she's introduced to the story, they're probably not going to make it to the end of the book because she can't kill off the main characters. And so you're like, oh, I really like this side character. But I'm not going to get too attached because I know they're going to die. Now all these characters that I have gotten attached to over multiple novels, who knows? Who knows? And it just makes it that much more exciting and real. A lot of people reference the Game of Thrones, and that's why I use it. But I think a more apt movie comparison would be: have you guys seen the movie Serenity in the Firefly series?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so you know when going into the very last scene, spoilers for like a 15-year-old movie, and they're trying to escape, and all of a sudden Wash is just suddenly killed.
Heartbroken. Like, oh my God.
And you're like, oh my gosh, why would they kill Wash? And then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh my gosh, this could be like the end. Like, I have no idea who is going to live or die now. And your adrenaline just gets amped up for the rest of the movie, where you're like, what's going to happen? Like, oh my gosh, are they going to die? Are they going to make it? Or are they not? I don't know, because they just killed one main character. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
this just got real.
And it was
Wash. This got real. And so it's like going through Val'Sharah, you're like, oh, every time they brought in a new lore character, I was like,
is it going to be you?
For them? And it was for some, and it's like, oh no. It's like when Greymane and Sylvanas, stood toe to toe in Stormheim, I was like, oh, this could be the end for one of them. I don't know. So just having that anticipation of like these immortal characters are no longer immortal. They could be offed, and just the fact that they're not just like willy-nilly killing fits with the lore, that it works, that you really dig in and it hits you in the feels. It perfectly links in all of these old stories and brings the arc back around full circle, and I'm loving it. Just loving what they're doing in Legion, and unfortunately they've put like these really high expectations up there right now, and I am kind of like on the anticipation, like if they don't keep it up there, and like this could be like, this was the greatest start ever, and then just drop the ball. So I don't think they will, because this is Blizzard and they always end expansions strong. Lore wise, not necessarily timing wise. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens from here on out, and loving the lore.
So
Cuddles, do you have anything else?
I actually can I add a sideshow of suck moment? That I'll share, since we have the illustrious Ringmaster Kevin here. When I first jumped into Legion, I rolled a Demon Hunter. I very specifically avoided spoilers. Well, anyone that has done the Demon Hunter quest line to completion, you realize that they're not there for Broken Shores. They miss that entire part, and at the end of the quest line, get spat out after that. Sorry that's a spoiler. We're like on to our first patch, guys. I think it's fair game now. So as I'm wrapping the end of the Demon Hunter storyline, somebody in my chat said, no, stop. There's a big spoiler ahead. And I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, it can't be. Like, I've heard a couple things, and it can't be. When I walked into the throne room and saw that it was Anduin.
Yeah.
I nearly broke down. Like, I couldn't believe that I spoiled that for myself, because I still cried like a little baby during the cutscene. I still haven't seen the Horde side, but I want to see that as well. But I cried like a little baby, but I could not realize there's my sideshow of suck was ruining one of the biggest moments at the very beginning of the expansion after avoiding alpha and beta for like 4 months.
Oh yeah. Well, I completely understand that, but even if you were reading like the pre-expansion comics and the stories that they were putting out, they spoiled it there too. Yeah. There was one with Anduin and I think Villain. I honestly can't remember at this, but it was just like, oh, now that you're king, and you're like, wait, shoot, really? Crud! I just did not see that spoiler coming.
See, and I avoided all of that. I avoided everything, and then spoiled myself like day one.
But Turats, one more thing. You asked me what, if I'm satisfied with the lore and what I'm excited about lore-wise coming into Legion, and I just realized that coming next month, and it got overshadowed by all the BlizzCon stuff, but next month they're releasing the young adult novel about Warcraft.
Oh yeah. I'm excited for
And
that.
that is another whole story series that I'm very, very excited about. So
what
don't miss
age
that.
group are they targeting with that?
You know, I'm thinking it's like like 11 to probably 15 ish.
Okay.
The tweeners, like the teen paranormal romance
Like Harry
I
Potter
type section.
kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, because like Divergent was considered young adult, and I feel like you needed to be in your like late teens to understand some of that. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Now, mind you, I have not read Divergent. I know that comes as a shock, that I did not delve into the Divergent series.
Or even like Hunger Games. Did you get into that one?
I have read all of Hunger Games and all of Twilight, but I don't talk about that. And but this does seem a little bit more along the lines of a Harry Potter-esque type series. It doesn't seem like it has that harsh edge of like kids killing kids like the Hunger Games did, or kids, inciting a rebellion against some weird omnipresent corporation like the Divergent series. I don't know. That's what I just got from the trailer previews of the movies. But it really does seem like it's more that Harry Potter. We have a young kid that's going on an adventure. Let's tag along with him as he goes to all these different sites and places around Azeroth. So very excited for that, though. What I'm really excited is to see if it's something where, if I start reading this to my son, could he then pick it up and maybe read for himself? Because the snowball fight, it's a little bit too young for my 9-year-old.
Yes. I'm planning on getting it and reading it to my 5-year-old. So.
Oh, there you go. Start him young. That's the idea.
Yeah, we'll see. But he's watched the first 3 Harry Potters. I think I stopped him after 3.
Yeah, I stopped my kids after 1.
I am not going to talk about what I've let my 4-year-old watch. So.
One last thing. This just popped into my mind. That we don't really cover news on this show because there's so many other WoW podcasts that do it much, much better than I. But there's been a lot of people leaving. What are your thoughts on that? We're losing a lot of veteran WoW devs right now.
That's what you mean by people leaving. I was like, I thought subscription numbers were like through the roof.
Sub numbers are going nuts right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of
he didn't actually say that that it's north of 10 million right now. Yeah. As far as the people leaving WoW, it's one of those weird ideas in that, like, for instance, you don't hear about like the high execs of Pepsi leaving for, other franchises or anything like that. Because Pepsi is a standard product that just exists. And they might come out with, new wild cherry crystal diet caffeine-free Pepsi, and people are like, well, that really sucks. And like, it's all right, we still got Pepsi. It's the same thing you've been drinking for the last 80 years of your life. But when it comes to Warcraft, there are so many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to this stuff, that it's like you see somebody who's been there from the beginning leave, and you're like, oh, that's bummer. But truly, it's like a lot of them, it's like, okay, what exactly did they bring to the table, and what did they do? It's like, he was the leader of the storyline development. It's like, okay, I kind of get that, but like, is that like, you would come up with the overarching story? Because I know the quest designers, they just fill the quests and they actually populate the zones based on the quests that they design. And that's different than the story that's going on. And with Ian Hazzikostas taking over as the lead game developer, that's an awesome thing. I've always loved everything that Ian has brought to the table. Watcher, he is an amazing game developer. He's always so open with the community. I've been able to interview him on a couple occasions, and everything he says gets me jazzed about this game. He's really turned around the whole idea on how the PvE environment should go. So him taking over essentially the reins of Warcraft right now, I'm not concerned in the least. It's in good hands. The thing that is only slightly concerning me is that the more people who are leaving the Warcraft project, the more people they're replacing with that are Warcraft fans like you and me. And that kind of makes it like you kind of have what is it called? Like it's not like the rats running the ship or the kids teaching the class at this point. There is a really good euphemism for this. I can't remember what it's called. But it's something where, it's like, I know that as a fan, this is what I as a fan would like. But however, my view of this game is completely different from how you approach the game, Cuddles, or how you approach the game, Tarats. Like Tika from Horde for Life, or Rich, or John and Ben from Azeroth Roundtable, or the Convert to Raid guys. We all approach this game in such a completely different way that if I were to design this game, so many people would hate it. Like, really hate this game. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? This is the most amazing game ever. There's no rating. There's no leveling. Everybody's the same. Isn't this great? You just go out and you experience the story. There's no gear except for cosmetic things. There's no leveling of your characters, so you can jump in and you can go anywhere and do anything. And it's just la-di-da, happy land with open world bosses and questing and getting awesome, Barbie dress up gear. Wouldn't that be a great game that you play? Because that's the game I play, and that's the game that I love. And mounts for days. That's all there is. There would be no expansions to this game, just new mounts and new quests, and quests that take us back to old content, to old Azeroth all the time if I were in charge of this game. And that's why I'm not in charge of the game.
I think I'm okay with this. Ian, do you need an assistant?
So they have an amazing team, and yeah, you lose a couple team players. Did my heart break a little bit when Chris Metzen left? Oh my gosh, yes. I was playing Warcraft at the time. I told this story on the Dark Moon Herald. I was leveling Legion, and then I got a tweet from Dustin Turley saying, like, dude, did you see that Metzen left? I went, like, you could have told me my cat died. Like, it was just like, oh, my heart's broken. Like, the game would just like turn to ash in my hands. I was like, I get no enjoyment from this at this moment. I'm gonna go downstairs, pop a beer, light a candle, and read a book about Thrall. I mean, it was very sad. But is the game gonna go on and be awesome? I very much think so.
Right on.
Did that even answer your question? I don't know.
No, that is perfect, and that's you pretty much echoed my, like, Chris Metzen was definitely a big part. I don't even pretend to understand what goes on at Blizzard. I haven't been around long enough to claim to have any knowledge of it. However, he's one guy. He's one guy at the company. As phenomenal and amazing. Do not let me. I'm not detracting from anything that Chris Metzen accomplished. I'm merely talking about Blizzard post Metzen. I think they're going to be okay, guys. I doubt that one of the big announcements at BlizzCon is going to be, well, you know what? We talked about it. Metzen's gone. So we're going to turn this into a Facebook game now. And we're going to start hitting you guys with microtransactions, asking you to share this with your friends if you could.
Yes. King, the App King developer will now be taking over Warcraft from here on out.
There you go. We've hired some of the great folks from over at Farmville to produce the newest expansion.
Crush. And,
oh my God! I want this now.
Different colors Murlocs. And what I was trying to think of was the inmates are running the asylum. That was the the phrase.
Oh, okay, hold on. You said something magic, and I want to acknowledge this. Because I always joke around and I say nobody at Blizzard listens to my podcast. I've since found out that that's not true. So thank you to people that do. But Murloc Crush, Candy Crush style game with different colored Murlocs. Why is this not a thing? Why don't I have it now? Announce it at BlizzCon, please.
I know, right?
We could. I'm trying to think of what profession could craft a toy in the game to make this happen.
I don't want this in the game. I want this on my cell phone so I can play it
Oh.
all the time.
Well, you need bonus rewards for whatever you do in Murloc Crush on your app to then be linked to your in-game
Game.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Blizzard,
very,
hire
very
this guy
similar
right now.
to,
He's a genius.
Similar. I was a couple episodes ago. Reb and I were talking about how we need to have real life like achievement patches or badges that we could wear around at BlizzCon. That the in-game like Blizzard Gear Store will attach to your game account. And so when you unlock the achievement in game, you could then purchase that badge like I got invincible or I beat, Prince Malchazar when it was current or whatever. And then you could buy that particular patch from the Gear Store. Learn to talk.
This is like a multi-million-dollar idea, Blizzard.
I know, right?
You need to do
Take
this
my
right
monies. I will make it rain for those patches.
Oh God. It would be like the Boy Scout vest or the Girl Scout vest, but then you just have
Yes,
that.
exactly.
I would
There's
now
a
be
whole
wearing
industry.
that to BlizzCon.
Right?
Like I would just
And
wear
then you
that to
can walk
BlizzCon.
around and be like, yeah, I got invincible, what up? And the other person's like, well, I got Ashes of Valar, suck it.
I have that one.
I did get invincible the sixth time that I went into Ice Crown.
I know you've
That's
said
awesome.
that before.
Yeah, I say that.
I got
because I only have 34 mounts.
I got both Firebirds out of the Firelands.
Oh my God. I've run that
2
so
weeks.
much.
No way. So I had a level 65 tune in Firelands. I just joined CTR like that day. Somebody posted in chat, said, "Hey, anybody want to come do Firelands?" I didn't even know what it was. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come do it. I'm this level. Like, can I come?" They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna die a lot, but it'll be fine." So I was whatever.
That's
whatever the
CTR.
absolute base level was to be able to get in. And I did. I just died. Every boss I just died and they'd res me. And on oh my gosh, which one? It's the flame chicken. Al's Resort?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the flame chicken. On that boss, they were like, "Oh, this thing dropped. Everybody roll for it." And I'm like, "What is that?" Like, how do I roll?
How do you roll?
Like /roll. They're like, "Oh, here you go," and I got it.
/G quit.
Oh no! See, that was my old guild that always used to do that.
Or Alt F4.
That is why I
Yeah.
left. But I ended up winning this thing. I had no idea. There was like, I think it was months later, I was using it in a raid, and somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, you have that?" I was like, "Yeah." Somebody like gave it to me the first time I ran Firelands. What is it?
Do I have this like flame egg in my bag? What do I do with it?
Yeah, the vendor doesn't want it. Can I just get rid of it?
Oh my
Doesn't
Man,
seem-
this thing vendors for like 50 silver. What the heck?
Yeah, it seems like a flaming egg will give me heartburn. I'm not gonna cook it. So, as we've gone completely off the rails, I think this brings us to the time for shout-outs. Kevin, do you have any shout-outs this week?
I do have a couple shout outs. First off, to the crew of the Darkmoon Herald, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't mention how awesome they were and how they are inspiring to me to continue podcasting. So Rebel Fleur, she's an amazing person. Check her out at Tank That Reb on Twitter and, of course, on our podcast. And Kelpkeeper Walsh, who is recently my new roomie. So I can't get away from him. But they are two of the most awesome WoW players. If you get a chance to talk to them at BlizzCon, make sure that you do so. And make sure that you check out our podcast at darkmoonherald.com for any emails that you'd like to send me to let me know how wrong I am or how right. I accept both with humility. And, of course, you can check out our website, darkmoonherald.com, on Twitter at Dark Moon Herald. I'd also like to give a quick shout out, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes here, Cuddles, to the people who are going to be on the podcasting panel with me and Cuddles at Calm Before the Storm, which is at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be Chris Case with Cuddles. We'll have films from the Twisted Nether podcast, Freckleface from Hearthcast, Medros from All Things Azeroth, and myself with Root, the amazing Root, moderating the panel. It is going to be so much fun. Make sure that you check it out either on the live stream or when it is set to release on all your iTunes, iPods, Podbean devices after the fact. So make sure you check that out. Also, if anybody would like to get in contact with me, you can follow my tweets that may or may not be Warcraft related, but has a really sweet avatar by Fabelina now. You can do that on Twitter at Kevin Old Scratch.
Well, no, you do something special on Mondays, right?
Yes, Mugshot Mondays. Now, I have been on and off a little bit. They changed my work schedule, so it throws me off with the Mondays. But yes, I try every Monday to take an awesome shot with a new, different, interesting mug or in an interesting location. So like one time it was while I was at work with my partner. This last one while I was in Hawaii with my wife, and so on and so forth. So if you have an awesome mug that you like to showcase, just send it to me. Put my name at Kevin Old Scratch and then hashtag it DMH or hashtag DMH Mugshot Monday.
Nice. It's one of the coolest, like, cutest things. Every time I see all those, like, every Monday, and I'm really bad. I think I've participated like 2 or 3 times, but yeah. I enjoy it. It's something that I look for on Mondays, and it's great because your morning is like about when I'm ready to go. Like, it's about 11 or 12 o'clock for me. So, like, I'm actually awake and ready to enjoy life at that point. So it's glorious.
And some of the funny part was, like, I used to have a work schedule where I'd get off of work at 3 o'clock on Monday morning from my Sunday shift. And so I would get home at about 4 and then wake up around noon and do like my Mugshot Monday, like, hey, I just woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's my coffee.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, so guys, tomorrow, Mugshot.
Yeah, make sure you, this might be up tonight. If not, you guys will be able to participate next week. Make sure you guys get in on the fun. It's always cool. Tour Arts, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, a couple. Shout out to the Heroes team who carried me through that wonderful game as I was the distraction. Nez, and I'm going to mispronounce this name, Seosin. They're going to be helping me with that Monday night learning how to raid team that I'm going to be starting for the guild. And then finally, another butchered name coming at you, Daisyman, for Gold Advice. Alisander, there we go, Alisander. For the gold advice, I'm looking at doing something since we have a lot of new players in the guild, the Convert to Raid Guild, to like, here's how you make gold. So lots of great tips. But yes, thank you guys so much. It was a great week.
Right on.
And Cuddles.
As for me, big shout out first and foremost to Kevin for coming on. It is always a pleasure to get to speak with you and just to hear that buttery smooth voice, my friend.
Oh.
It is
not so buttery today.
I am not kidding in that I said that I have like 16 WoW podcasts that I'm subscribed to. If there's a week that I only get to listen to 2 or 3, yours is always on that list. So thank you for what it is that you do. I appreciate it. You and Reb keep me smiling each and every week, and I appreciate the heck out of it. Tour Arts, thank you so much for coming on. I will see you back here hopefully next week. Hopefully we didn't scare you off.
No, not yet.
Not yet. And guys, we'll talk a little bit more about Tour Arts being on here in the coming weeks. But look forward to seeing a little bit more of her. Well, actually seeing the same amount of her, but she'll be on the podcast. You won't actually be seeing any more. I'm gonna just walk away from this. I tried to make a joke, and now it's gotten weird.
See Tour Arts more often. Got it.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Phrasing is important, friends. Geez. Also, just shout out to everybody in this community that's been so supportive. It has just been so awesome, wonderful, and amazing. I love you guys, and I cannot wait to see everyone at BlizzCon. If you're not going to be at BlizzCon, make sure you're checking out the live stream of Calm Before the Storm. Make sure you're checking out the live well-played party. I will not be inside the convention center. So if you're looking for somebody to hang out with, hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter. I might be hanging out in Discord. I might. I don't know. Maybe we'll do like a simulcast. I need to check and see if I can do that. But like find some people to hang out with and enjoy BlizzCon as it quickly approaches, as a community experience as it's truly meant to be. Because it really is incredible. It's a great time for us all to come together. So guys, this brings me to a magical moment of the show. A time where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead with you to leave those all-important 5-star iTunes reviews. Now, guys, make sure you leave 5 stars for the Game Case Show and 2 stars for, I don't like Murlocs. Keep your filthy Murloc app away from me podcast, which is a podcast specifically designed to shoot down the idea of a Murloc app. Guys, we can't allow this to go on. Leave them a 2-star review. 5 stars for the Game Case Show. We know where people can find Kevin on the internet. Turarts, where can people find you?
Turarts, pretty easy. TURARTS on Twitter and Discord. Otherwise, hit me up in game.
Right on. And guys, make sure you go out and check out the Dark Moon Herald. It's a great show. Like I said, it's something that I enjoy week in and week out, and you should as well. You need this in your ears and in your life. So guys, that is going to do it for episode 64 or 3. I'm bad at counting. I need Turart's app. It's going to do it for this episode. If you want to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, join us on twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard each and every Sunday night. You'll also find me here Monday through Friday at around 9 to 10 a.m. and then 9 p.m. Doing all sorts of fun stuff, playing some games, derping out, and just embarrassing the heck out of myself on the internet. It's a good time. So, guys, thank you for listening to episode 63. Thank you for retyping that, because I will read the things that are in the show notes of the Game Case.
San Diego.
You can find me on Twitter at the Game Case now, rather than at Mullet863. Finally got the Twitter handle. Very excited. You can catch the show at the Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Catch recordings of the live show or all sorts of fun videos on youtube.com/thegamecase. Or you can find all of the things on, hopefully, the last time that I say the Game Case. Oh, no, that was twice. Thegamecase.com. Guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Kevin, Turarts, say bye.
Bye, guys.
And remember.
Oh. I can't cut off. No, I can't cut off Kevin. I did horrible things.
Oh, remember, Ninja the Poop. Don't stand in it.
And purchase only the finest cheeses from Cuddles Artisanal Cheese Shop. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.
And we're good.
Okay.